Then the types of bias, so we have intentional bias and then unintentional bias. Okay, so the first one, this form of bias is associated with the influence of the creators, engineers in the creation of the AI throughout its pipelines. If the creators are racist or stereotypical, then the model could be made to behave as such on inferences made. So yeah, so if we all so I remember their models, their AI models, when these facial recognition systems started popping up in the phones, using phones, you notice that when the AI is shown, like sometimes people could not unlock their phones. Okay, they could not unlock their phones because the AI couldn't detect dark skin, possibly because the AI was trained on what white skin. Okay, so when it sees a dark skin, it becomes some way it's not able to like perform as it should, okay, or as it would. Okay. So unintentional bias, this form of bias is usually associated with the type and then availability of data. So if you give your so I have garbage in, garbage out. If you feed your AI model with garbage, you should expect a garbage result. So there's something. Let me see if I can get this video called coded gaze. Coded gaze. Yeah, this lady.
That are increasingly being used to make decisions where. So I use generic facial recognition.
Got a face. Can you see my face? No glasses face? You can see her face. What about my face? Well, I've got a mask. Can you see my mask?
So how did this happen? Why am I sitting in front of a computer in a white mask trying to be detected by a cheap webcam? Well, when I'm not fighting the coded gaze as a poet of code, I'm a graduate student at the MIT Media Lab. And there I have the opportunity to work on all sorts of whimsical projects, including the Aspire Mirror, a project I did so I could project digital masks onto my reflection. So in the morning, if I wanted to feel powerful, I could put on a lion. If I wanted to be uplifted, I might have a quote. So I used generic facial recognition software to build the system, but found that it was really hard to test it unless if I wore a white mask. Unfortunately, I've run into this issue before. When I was an undergraduate at Georgia Tech studying computer science, I used to work on social robots. And one of my tasks was to get a robot to play peekaboo, a simple turn-taking game where partners cover their face and then uncover it saying peekaboo. The problem is peekaboo doesn't really work if I can't see you, and somebody else will solve this problem. Not too long after, I was in Hong Kong for an entrepreneurship competition. The organizers decided to take participants on a tour of local startups. One of the startups had a social robot, and they decided to do a demo. The demo worked on everybody until it got to me, and you can probably guess it. It couldn't detect my face.
Okay, so this by Ted. So you could see the kind of biases here. Okay, so the AI could detect white people, but couldn't detect their black skin. Okay, or dark skin. Okay.